city ghost assured too. 8 of Stockholm's most haunted locations. Hey there, horror lovers. Welcome to Daily Horror. Here we bring to you daily diverse horrors and mysteries that surround our world, from past to present. If you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on our daily dose of spookiness. Everyone will pretty much agree that Sweden is one of the countries with a low reputation when it comes to unnatural events. It's not like there are no eerie occurrences in the country, but probably not as publicized as other countries that are popular homes of paranormal events. Stockholm, the capital city of Sweden, is one of the world's oldest cities, and as such, we are assured of at least some unnatural happenings. Here are 8 places in Stockholm City with eerie events and stories that'll send a tingle down your spine. Number 1. The Silver Pillen. Stockholm's subway system could easily pass as a world-class art gallery, with several beautiful artworks adorning the walls. But while enjoying and appreciating the works of art, it's easy to get carried away and eventually get on the wrong train, one that embarks on a journey of no return. The Silver Pillen, or Silver Arrow, is a legendary silver train that's said to take the souls of the dead to an abandoned ghost station in the middle of the woods. It's said that if passengers waiting on the subway platform see a silver train slowly passing, they should not get on. And those that do get on will never return. The legend stems from a station that was actually built in the 1970s, but never completed, and paired with a prototype aluminum train that was in use between 1966 and 1996. Most of the trains were scrapped, but there are still a few in museums and on the Blue Line. So whenever you visit Stockholm and you want to use the subway, remember, silver is the color to avoid. Number 2. Stockholm Royal Palace. While the Silver Pillen is said to be taking people away without traces, the Stockholm Royal Palace, on the other hand, attracts numerous visitors each year. It's also one of the world's largest palaces, and it's served as a royal residence for centuries. One can only imagine the numbers of lives that must have been unjustly taken on the grounds, numbers of accidental deaths, and the ones that are mysterious. Hence, the claim that the royal palace is haunted is only normal, especially considering how old it is. The most talked about ghost in the Stockholm Royal Palace is the ghost of White Lady Vida Fru. It's alleged that her apparitions are connected with the death of a member of the royal family because she's been seen a couple of times preceding royal members' death. King Oscar wrote that she's tall, wears a white dress, a long white veil, and dark gloves clutching a ring of keys. In 1971, Princess Eugenie saw her 3 days before Queen Louisa's death. More than 50 years before, she appeared as Princess Margaret lay dying. The princess wasn't dead yet, but the flag at her palace was lowered to half-mast, and then a guard allegedly saw her on the roof. 2 hours later, Margaret was dead. One could only wonder what the ghost is about. Taking revenge, or just a messenger of death, specifically for the royal family? Give us your thought in the comments section. We would love to hear from you. Number 3. Old Town, Gamla. Certainly, the most gruesome event in the history of Sweden was the Stockholm bloodbath of 1520. This was when Danish king Christian II successfully invaded Sweden. It's said that 92 members of Swedish nobility who opposed the king were executed by beheading or hanging in Stortorget, the main square in Old Town, also known as Gamla. There are claims that if you visit the square in early November, the blood of the nobles will be seen flowing across the square's cobblestones. To honor the slain nobles, 92 white stones were placed in the Red Building, close to the site of the massacre. People believe that if one of the 92 stones in the building were to be removed, the ghost of the person represented will rise from the dead and haunt the streets of Stockholm for all eternity. Could this be true, or just an attempt to keep people away from touching the stones? What do you think? Number 4. The Palace of Schaeffler. This is possibly Stockholm's most notorious haunted building. Reports of ghost sightings at the Palace of Schaeffler can be traced back as far as the 18th century. Witnesses have reported seeing mirrors and windows shattering for no reason, as well as music and songs filling the air from seemingly out of nowhere. The palace has been the site of a number of murders and disappearances. An eerily striking tale of the palace is that of former owner Jacob von Balthasar Carnegie. who was alleged to be a worshiper of Satan. It's said that he was last seen entering a black carriage being pulled by a coachman with horns and a tail. Meanwhile, a priest who came to exorcise the building was allegedly thrown from an upper window. A famous opera singer committed suicide here, and a young couple was murdered and bricked up behind a wall in the basement. The palace is now owned by Stockholm University, who uses it mostly as a storage space. At least the hauntings won't affect inanimate things. Hopefully. Number 5. Koftehaus Hergård. Koftehaus had been around for about 6 decades, and for a place that old, it's guaranteed that it must have witnessed one tragic event or another, which will eventually lead to a haunting of the place. Koftehaus is said to be the site of a tragic love story. A young man, Matt, fell in love and had a secret affair with the daughter of a previous owner. The affair had to be kept secret because he was poor, and the father wouldn't tolerate such insolence. When the man found out his daughter had an affair with a commoner, he was furious and decided to punish her by marrying her off in a forced arranged marriage between her and a much older man. Out of grief over this marriage, he never took his own life. The building is now a hotel, but the haunting never stopped. There are guests who've reported footsteps of unseen people. Windows are said to close by themselves, and the apparition of a young man has been seen wandering restlessly through the halls. However, he's said to be a friendly ghost. Number 6. Ritterholm Church. If there are such places where manifestations of ghosts are normal, it might be inside a church. But when the ghostly actions become frightening, well, that's a whole different level. The Ritterholm Church, also known as Ritterholm Kyrkan in Swedish, is one of the oldest churches in Stockholm. It stands towering over the city and can be seen from virtually every part of it. The aura of the church is naturally eerie, as much of the church is dark, even in broad daylight. The church was built in 1846 in a location used as the burial place for royal families. Since its existence, there have been numerous ghostly encounters in the church, including echoing footsteps, dark shadows, and most horrible of all, loud knockings from inside the Torstensson's family vault, as if someone or something is trying to get out. Number 7. Vandernootska Palatset. One of the things common for old buildings is to have them repurposed over time. This townhouse was built by Dutch Colonel Thomas Vandernoot in 1674 and has over time been repurposed for various uses, ranging from the home of noblemen to a brothel. Visitors to this house have reported many strange encounters: invisible hands tugging the aprons of waitresses, a sofa where something sits during the night, and the ghosts of horses in the old stable buildings. Number 8. Hornska Palatset. Hornska Palatset was, for almost 200 years, the official residence of the Swedish foreign ministers. It has a foreboding and sinister look to it, even more so during the dark hours of the day, and frightening stories have been told by night watchmen, some of whom refuse to work here. Stories including black and threatening shadows, and being pushed down the stairs by an unknown evil force. Most of these locations are open to tourists to visit. However, if you're visiting, make sure your heart's in good condition, as you may encounter something lurking in the dark corners of these locations. Which of these places have you been to? What was your experience? Give us your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like and share the video. We'll bring you a fresh episode tomorrow. Be sure to tune in and be spooked. Coming up on the next episode of Daily Horror, we bring you 10 creepy things found in the depths of the ocean. Be sure to subscribe and turn on your notification so you won't miss out on the next episode.